I shouldn't let a day go by without talking about Russia's brutality against the civilian population in Ukraine. And last night, Russia once again demonstrated that it's not a military power so much as a terrorist regime with an air force. And the scenes emerging from Zaporizhzhia and Dnipro Petrovsk are a sobering indictment of Moscow's strategy to destroy, to demoralize, to dehumanize, and the deadliest of these attacks was on a correctional facility near Zaporizhzhia. Russian warplanes dropped 8 high-explosive FAB bombs, killing 16 inmates, injuring at least 35 others. Ukrainian Governor Ivan Fedorov confirmed the facility was reduced to rubble, with nearby civilian homes also severely damaged. These are not military targets. There was no front line there, no weapons depot, no strategic gain, only death for the sake of death. And elsewhere in the Dnipro region, there were further multiple strikes. A missile attack on Kamyansk killed 3 people, including a pregnant woman, injured 5 more. In Silnelnikove, 1 person was killed, several injured. Velika Mikhailivka, a 75-year-old woman, was killed in a home. In Kharkiv, a grocery store was struck, killing 5 civilians. In Kherson, another civilian was killed, 3 wounded. In total, over 20 civilians have been confirmed dead in just one night, and that figure may rise. These attacks coincided with Donald Trump's new 10-day ultimatum to Russia to agree to peace or face punishing tariffs and sanctions. But what was Russia's response? Not diplomacy, not negotiation, instead glide bombs, airstrikes, and the obliteration of Ukrainian lives with, drones? It's no coincidence, it's defiance. Putin is calling Trump's bluff, testing whether the former reality star turned commander-in-chief has the will to impose real costs. Trump has admittedly hardened his stance, and speaking in Turnberry, he said, "You have bodies lying all over the street. I'm disappointed in Putin." Well, it's not anything new, Mr. Trump. But disappointment is not policy. Russia's foreign ministry responded with bombast. Sergei Lavrov declared that Russia is fighting alone against the entire West. Well, what about North Korea? While Dmitry Medvedev suggested US sanctions would be a step towards direct war, these are not the words of a regime looking for peace. They are the snarls of a cornered predator, the rat in the staircase in St. Petersburg. But what of Ukraine? President Zelensky praised Trump's shortened timeline, saying it came right on time when a lot more can change through strength. But the real challenge is how much pain Ukraine must endure in the meantime. Kyiv's forces are stretched. They're fending off new Russian advances in Malivka and the Eastern Front, and crucially, they're now forced to expand their recruitment pool to include men over 60 years of age, a desperate measure for a desperate time. Meanwhile, Ukraine struck back. Drones targeted Rostov in southern Russia, causing a fire at a train station and logistical disruption. It's an area in Rostov where there's no Wi-Fi at all. But Ukraine's response remains measured, aimed at infrastructure. Russia's, in contrast, is aimed at civilians in hospitals, grocery stores, homes, prisons. This is not conventional wartime, it's calculated terror. As Putin's soldiers follow people's SIM cards, literally. And let's be clear, the attack on a prison housing Ukrainian inmates is a war crime under international law. Article 8 of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court makes the deliberate targeting of civilian facilities, including prisons, a punishable offence. Russia knows this, it doesn't care. And that is why Andriy Yermak, Zelensky's chief of staff, says bluntly Russia must face economic and military blows that strip it of capacity to wage war. And that is where the international community, led by the United States, must act. NATO allies are ramping up military procurement. Germany has agreed to billions in US-made weapons. Norway is sending Patriot missile systems. Canada, Britain, Sweden and Denmark are committed to joint defence procurement. These are steps in the right direction. It has to happen soon, but they must be matched by punitive secondary sanctions. Cut off the banks. Target Russian exports. Pressure China to stop buying Russian oil. Close every loophole. Propose alternatives. As Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent warned, anyone who buys sanctioned Russian oil should be ready for 100% tariffs. But To make this work, the US needs to present an alternative. Don't buy Russian oil, buy this oil. In conclusion, last night's Russian attacks remind us again that we're not dealing with a legitimate government. We're facing a regime that thrives on death. Civilian death is not collateral damage in Putin's war, it's the objective. And if the world doesn't act with speed and strength, we will be here again next week, next month, reading the names of the dead, more wounded, more grief. And we need to stop that cycle now. Not with empty deadlines, but with real, enforceable consequences. You can't threaten something and then not carry it out when the children don't obey. And Putin, doesn't matter how old he is, whether he's in a smeg fridge or not, he's still a child. And he shows that immaturity every single day.